Yeah, I'm going to tell you a story about what's happening in Finland, and when I do so, I will definitely use forward-looking language, and we'll get a bit technical too, so please apprise yourself of the cautionary language here and on our website. So, as we've heard already today from Orion Resources, there's definitely a gold rush happening in Lapland, and it's a place that has really seen less than 10 years of modern gold exploration. So I'm going to show you a belt of rocks that is really controlled by 3 junior companies and 2 majors. And Firefox, at our ridiculous market cap, is a major player in that belt. But that's because we're doing greenfields exploration in the north. But I'll tell you this, CEO local in Finland, exploration manager, built a house 5 minutes from the core shed in the Arctic of Finland. So the team is local, I'm chairman, I'm American, and I'm part-time on this deal. So these are the guys who are doing the work. In Firefox, it's nimble, it's fast-moving, and this is what you have to be doing and thinking when you're in an emerging greenstone belt and you just don't know where the next discovery is coming from. So I'm just going to take you to a view here of the central Lapland greenstone belt. So imagine, we're in Timmins or something 100 years ago. There's a few things to think about in this belt of rocks. First, there are a couple of nice cities here. You have the town of Kittilä and its international airport here. The town of Sodankylä here, where most companies have their field offices and offices. And this area is just crisscrossed by paved highways and power lines. The infrastructure is fantastic to be 100 Ks or 150 Ks north of the Arctic Circle. The greenstone belt is sort of outlined like so, and if it's not blue or gold for Firefox colors, it's probably not prospective for gold. It's either older rocks or younger rocks, or in a few cases, protected territories like the Natura 2000 ground of the EU. But you can see Firefox has a large land position here, and one geological thing on this map, this black line here, it's called the Serka line or the Serka shear zone. It's a through-going crustal scale fault. It runs for more than 100 kilometers, and you'd be familiar with those in any greenstone belts around the world. You'd see a lot of times mafic volcanic and volcanic rocks here, sedimentary rocks, and you'll notice that there have been a few important discoveries. The Agnico Eagle operates the Kittilä mine there at the north of the slide. Again, great access to that mine, and 3.8 million ounces in reserves remaining, mining over 4.2 grams there is Agnico. But importantly, Rupert Resources has made one of the best discoveries of the last couple of decades at the Ikkari deposit. Comes to surface, it's over 2.5 grams per ton, 3.7 million ounces so far, and a very positive PEA published recently by Rupert. And we're exploring in the vicinity of all these, but we've got our own discovery, and we're going to begin with that as we go to the Musti-Arabi project here in the center of the slide. Now, Musti-Arabi is an orogenic gold system, and it happens to have a paved highway, passing right through the property there. And it was discovered by Outokumpu in the 90s. Not really a gold company, but Outokumpu was exploring all over Finland, and they discovered it here in this area the few shallow holes. We acquired it and began drilling in 2018. 2 meters of 45 grams was one of the first drill holes we reported there. And the boys started prospecting along this major shear zone here, and in doing so stepped out about 500 or 600 meters, made another discovery, again more favorable results, culminating in 16 meters of almost 8 grams, quite shallow there. And then following both the geophysics and geochemistry, in 2022 and 2023, we got 1.5 kilometers away from the east target there, where we've recently been drilling results such as 14 meters of 29 grams coming to just below surface. We're going to look at that in some detail. Now, again, we're about 70,000 meters behind Rupert on our drilling here, about 12,000 meters drilling so far on this project. I just want to show you a view of that same shear zone stretched out about 1.5 kilometers there. And you can see on this magnetics, the warm colors are mafic volcanics and ultramafic rocks that come to surface. And the cooler colors are primarily sedimentary rocks and tuphites. And I can tell you, we've learned that the green means go on this slide. If you're drilling where that magnetic signal is low, those are less magnetic rocks, we've been hitting a lot of gold. And when you hang that section here, you can see the purple circles are more than 10 grams per ton. And we've got 10 100 gram meter holes here over about 1.5 kilometers of strike, most prominently a couple of 300 gram meter holes in the east target that come virtually to surface here. Imagine this structural zone with 2 styles of mineralization. We're finding narrow high-grade veins up to about 230 grams per ton over narrow widths. Those are quartz carbonate tourmaline veins with pyrite and gold. But now, at the east target, we found replacement style of mineralization where we have 10 to 15 meters of sort of averaging about 12 to 15 grams per ton, where the rock's been replaced with quartz, pyrite, and gold associated with the pyrite. Zooming into that east target, what we encountered here was two styles of mineralization, as I said, and two controlling structures. One is running sort of this northeast southwest direction here, and another cross-cutting it in a northwesterly direction. So we've drilled it in two directions on about 25-meter spacings. Why? One reason is our good friend Quentin Henney says, drill it close. You're never going to figure out where this high grade is if you don't drill it close. We've done so, and you can see we now have about a 100-meter footprint of the mineralization coming to surface here, and it's open in several directions. We see 100 grams down here, 170 grams here, still open in that direction, and all the way to the south here where we've just started drilling. No deep drilling at all. The deepest hole on the property is about 300 meters. As we've heard, these orogenic gold systems can go well over a kilometer depth. So we're super excited about Musti-Arabi. You can see these are the intercepts we've had so far this year. 15 meters at 13 grams coming virtually to surface, as well as 12 meters of 14 and so on. So the drill will be back here in about 3 weeks at Musti-Arabi. You can drive right to the property. It's a great time of year to drill here before the snow melts in May, and we will be doing so. Just to give you a glimpse of what it looks like, you can see there, we see these veins I was speaking of. They're narrow here, often 1 to 2 meters. You can see some of the numbers, visible gold in that. But it's this replacement style of mineralization that has us and some of the bigger miners excited, because those are larger volumes of mineralization pretty much coming to surface, and the gold's associated with that pyrite. You can see that in our booth out there today. We've got a couple of pieces of that stuff. So we've got a lot of other things going on in this huge belt. We've heard today things like scale and grade being important. We have a greenstone belt here controlled by 3 juniors and 2 majors where discoveries are being made. And right there at the bottom of the slide is the Ikari discovery controlled by Rupert Resources. And you can see our Sarvi project just north of that. 8 kilometers long. We've just done a couple of rounds of base of till sampling to explore beneath the glacial sediments that cover the rock. By the way, that's how Ikari was discovered. They did great work there over several years to make that discovery. And at Sarvi, we've just done our first round of drilling, but stay tuned because the huge Kolho property here to the north is something we're pretty excited about as well. At Sarvi, how do you face greenfields exploration when all of the rock is covered by this glacial sediment? Well, you've got to get out and take these shallow drill holes called base of till samples. And in this pattern here, we've done about 1,500 of those. Our neighbors to the south, they're probably over 20,000 now that Rupert has collected. But that's how you've got to get out there and prospect to find these big systems. And there's the 4 million ounce discovery at Ikari to back that up. At Sarvi, we've done 2 rounds of bot sampling, a little bit of drilling, as you can see, widely spaced last year. We hit a little bit of gold here in the northwest of the property. 17 meters of low grade, 0.1, 0.2 grams. Early days at Sarvi, and the drill will be back there also in this spring before the snow melts. And I just want to end with, being a geologist who's been doing this a long time, what makes a big deposit? Well, we're looking at the regional data sets in Finland, and one of the things you see are big structures. And here you see regional magnetics data passing through the Sarvi, the Ikari discovery here. There's our Sarvi property, and you can see these white lines. Those are magnetically active features. That's part of a big shear zone that wraps around here, turns to the north, and just like we see many places in Canada, these big structures around a big granite is a great place to look for gold. So we've pegged that huge area and expect those permits to be granted imminently. So stay tuned. If you see the word Kolho in one of our news releases, our geologists are pretty excited because we'll be hitting that area with base of till sampling. So small company. 15 million Canadian market cap, an incredible team, a lot of energy, and we've been drilling high grade at Musti-Arabi. The drill will be back there in about 3 weeks, and this summer we expect to conduct some trenching and our first metallurgical samples from this near surface high grade discovery. A couple of other our properties have been through 1 or 2 rounds of drilling, but down at the bottom of the slide you see Sarvi there. That's immediately adjacent to Rupert's big discovery, and it'll see its second phase of drilling here coming up on those base of till anomalies that I spoke of. And lastly, we're keeping the pipeline full with new projects because you just don't know where the next discovery is coming. We're pretty excited about Kolho, so I look forward to getting over there and seeing the work we're generating at Kolho over the summer. So thanks very much. Greenfields exploration in Finland. Stay tuned. It's not boring.